I'm proud of you. You know it's not easy going after your dreams, even having the courage to risk it all in pursuit of your dreams. Just having the courage to risk it all while chasing your dream, let alone fighting through all setbacks, obstacles, and naysayers on the way to your dream. It's not easy. That's why most settle, but you're not like the rest. That's why you're listening to this. And I just wanted to say I'm proud. I wanted to say that because I know most of you may have never have heard that. I wanted to say that not because you need a pat on the back. You're strong enough to succeed without any of that. Just to let you know, you are unique. You are a rare breed, a strong individual. Keep doing your thing and don't let anything or anyone stop you from reaching that goal you have.
So I wanted to show, as Mike said, there are some British people in there. I had some British people, including my son, that I wanted to showcase on there, but it's only a little minute. But as we go through the clips, we can see lots more of our British people that have achieved in this country. So greetings again, and it's a pleasure to be here and to be celebrating this year's nationally recognised Black History Month, Proud to Be. And as I said before, it's encouraging people to celebrate about being black and brown. And I'm delighted to be here, just giving these opening remarks on behalf of Black History Month Salford. Just to say as well that we opened Black History Month for Greater Manchester on the 30th of September at the Manchester Cathedral. So that was a really big event that we did. And we're really, really proud to say that with CAHN's influence, we've managed to have that as a civic event now going forward. So every year for Black History Month, it will be a civic event, hopefully celebrated at the Manchester Cathedral, where we will open for the whole of Greater Manchester. So we're really proud of that. So in your brochures, which are going round, you'll see that, you know, we're celebrating Proud to Be, but we're also celebrating the change. So this is all about the change, and it's the change that we want to see as we go forward. And one of the quotes I steal from the brochure is, in challenging, we all play a part. In collaborating together, we become stronger. And by communicating our voice becomes a chorus that must be heard. So we're all united in this chorus to bring about this change we want to see. So we know that Black History Month has been celebrated in the UK for the last 34 years. And it's a celebration of cultural diversity. And although many of us will say, we're not only black in October, why do we just celebrate Black history in October? But actually, what we are saying is we're so grateful to have this 1 month, this whole month of October, to really celebrate, showcase our diversity, our creativity, our innovation, our culture, our dance, our music, our food, and lots of other things that we can showcase. So we've made so many contributions, and it's just a time that we can really kind of share that. Not saying we don't share it any other time of the year, because it's really important that we do pay attention to Black achievements as well throughout the year. We can also look at Black History Month, and part of the reason why it was created is because we also need to talk about some of the struggles that we face. And many of you will know the last 18 months, just using that as an example, has been a real struggle for many in the Black community, where we've seen lots of, morbidity, mortality resulting from this terrible pandemic, which is not over. We're all out, but it's not over. But still, we have faced a lot of challenges. But what we want to do as well is to face up to racism. We want to challenge it. We want to strive for equality and equity across society. So there's lots to celebrate, both from a historical perspective in modern society, and also we just want to showcase some of the work that we've been doing. I mean, I'm a nurse by background, you know, and there are many people like me that have come from the Caribbean during Windrush to really look at how we build our NHS. And there's so many things that we can celebrate from our black community. We know there are inequities, but at the same time, I want to say I'm proud to be black. I don't want to be anything else. I'm not going to be anything else anyway, but that I am proud to be black. I'm proud of my ancestry, my heritage, my culture, and against the odds, when I was told in school, and my mum and my dad are there to vouch for the fact that I was a really naughty child in school, really naughty, and many a time the headmaster would come to my mum and dad's house and tell them, you know, she must try harder. He would be probably saying, no, it can't be her right now, standing there talking to people about, you know, being proud about who they are and really looking at how we can inspire and achieve. And I was really, really honoured this year to be appointed the Deputy Lieutenant, or one of them, for Greater Manchester, and many, many other things that I've achieved, but having the right people around me, positive people, people that encourage and inspire. And I'm just really proud that I can pass on some of that to my children, I'm extremely proud of. So today and October, I'm really proud to be who I am today. So I'm delighted to be standing here and really just to look at how we can encourage each other, support each other, and just really celebrate each other as we go forward. So I hope you all have a good evening. I'm sure there's lots of entertainment, food, and things that for you to enjoy. But as I said, I hope you have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed for that. So we'll have one of our first guest speakers now. Before we do that, I must just mention, and I promise you, I'm not showing off, okay? Because I wouldn't. But last Sunday, I returned from a holiday in Grenada, which is where I'm from originally. I came to the UK in '68, and I've only been back there twice. Once in 2014 because an uncle of mine passed away and I went to be with the family, and that was a fairly hectic time. But this time my wife and I went for a holiday, and if I can tell you that the temperature there was 31 degrees every day, and I checked the BBC website every day and it said it's 31 degrees but feels like 45. And that's the way it was. And we stayed in a lovely group of apartments there, and it was just wonderful. Just wonderful. And you could go to the swimming pool, you could go to the bar, you could go diving if you wanted to. Just wonderful. And I think it's important at this time, in this month, that we appreciate black culture as well as everything else. And I just want to say one more thing. There's a lot of discussion as to who's going to be the next James Bond. I've told them I'm not available. However, I do know who should be the next James Bond. And did anybody see Bridgerton? Yeah, there's a big thing about it in the magazine. The main actor in that was a guy called, and I hope I get this right, Reggie Jean Page or John Page. I don't think he should get it because he's black. I think he should get it because he's the coolest guy on the planet at the moment. And if I'm not available, it has to be him. Can I please ask you to welcome our very special guest, ceremonial mayor of the city of Salford. I live in Salford, by the way. This was a really long journey to get here today. He's responsible for carrying out civic duties on behalf of the council and is happy to serve the people and to work hard to prevent injustice and hardship wherever he finds it in Salford. Please welcome Lord Mayor John Mullen.
They forgot to mention I'm short as well. So it's my honour to welcome you all to the city of Salford. I'm really pleased to see you all here tonight. As I grew up, I was heavily influenced by certain TV programmes, but that led me to believe there was a world possible where all men and women could be equal and respected. And this is a standard that I have set for myself and I've strived for all my life. It is an expectation set for me. So this sets me up now for the apology. I have to apologise that I have taken for granted the fact that my elected colleagues are a diverse group. But you see, in my defence, this is my normal. I am comfortable and confident that they deserve to be where they are. I am happy, like me, they are passionate about their communities in the city of Salford. We don't have quotas or numbers or games in play. These are my equals, brothers and sisters, mentors and my friends. And I'm sorry it's taken me till tonight to acknowledge that. But again, in my defence, I thought you already knew that. I make no apology now as I announce that I am proud of them. This city and its like-minded policies and its work towards equalities. I wish the world was like this already, but sadly it's not. But I know this council will call out injustice wherever it sees it, and it will fight the good fight for our citizens. This is our values, this is in our DNA. So I'm going to finish my little speech with a version of some famous quote, and it's like this. History is already written. The future is yours to write. So write it well, Salford, write it well. Thank you.
You like that, did you?
I did, yeah.
Good. Excellent. Thank you very much indeed, Lord Mayor John Mullen. And can I please ask you to put your hands together for his wife, the Mayoress Michelle, as well. Our next guest speaker is Councillor Sharmina August. She's been a councillor since 2019 in the Salford ward of Eccles. She's passionate about justice and equality, and it's her mission to ensure that nobody is left behind. Councillor Sharmina August.
Thank you. I'm shorter than John, so I'll move this down. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming here tonight and for inviting me tonight as well. I'm just humbled to be here. Black History Month is probably one of my favourite times of year, and I'll tell you why. I remember growing up, I grew up in almost an exclusively white neighbourhood in a very white primary school, and one of my earliest memories of being in school was learning about World War II, the World War, and we're learning about all the people who participate and all the things that happened. And I remember thinking, where are my people? Where are the people from Bangladesh? Where are the people from India? Where are people who look like me? Why weren't we participating? Were we cowards? Were we scared? What was going on? I was so upset, and I felt so alone. And I asked my teacher, and she just said, well, yeah, they just, don't worry about it, but they weren't there. And I went home, and I was a bit quiet. And my mum, I'm not a quiet child, she's like, what's wrong? And I asked her. And then she told me, your Muslim granddad from a tiny village in Bangladesh, he took part in the war. He fought for the British Army. He was there. He sacrificed so much. He left his peaceful town to take part. And he was traumatized, he survived, and then he eventually came and stayed in this country and started his family and had my mum and her other siblings. And then I became angry that my teacher, this authority figure, this beacon of knowledge in my life as a little 7-year-old, did not want me to know that I should be proud and feel included in this world war and all the other things. And then my mum sort of cottoned on, my dad cottoned on as well. They had this little political revolutionary 7-year-old, and they started to educate me in their own ways in the community and tell them the stories. And every time I'd go back to Bangladesh, I try and learn more and more. And so that's why I love Black History Month, because it highlights what's not taught the rest of the year. It highlights the systemic racism in our education system, in our curriculums, and in our society that needs to change. Because how many of us, and not just people of colour, not just the BAME community, how many people who are white, British or otherwise don't know the contribution that our communities have made to the world, to society, to everything, how part of everything we are. And so that's why I love it, because I get a bit more angry, and I get to say that it should not just be a month. Like you said, we're not just brown and black for 1 month of the year. We should be teaching this all year round. And that's when I come to representation. So I am currently the only woman of colour on Salford Council. I'm the first Muslim, first Bangladeshi, first Asian person on the council as well. And we have more BAME representation on the council than we've ever had before, but we've not nearly gone far enough, and not nearly far enough across the country. You know, the benches of our councils and our parliament should be no different to the benches in any park, in any temple, in any tower block, in any stadium, theatre, wherever you go. They should be the same, because we need to have our voices heard. Until our voices are heard, we will not see the change. And we saw that with the Black Lives Matter movement. Until we got angry, and until we started shouting, and through the social media, because we've done it before, we've been angry before, this isn't new, but this time people heard us for once. And this is where I come to representation, because too long people say to me, just takes time. It takes time. Society's changing. Don't worry. In decades' time, it will change. We need to be the change we want to see. Nothing changes unless we ask for it, because nothing is handed to us on a plate. And so I think back to Major when he was interviewing me, and he said to me, what would you say to somebody who wants to be like you? And I said, oh God, don't be like me. Be yourself. Be what you need to be to change things the way you want to be. And I think to the quote of the young woman who changed the laws for upskirting. She said, they told me to change what I wear, so I changed the law instead. That's what we need to do. See the barrier, come together, so we're more powerful, and change the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Shamina August. Our next speaker is a community leader in this area. Jasmine Bakari is a founder and CEO of Women with Wings Group, as well as being the business owner of Jasmine's Cakes. She's working to improve women's lives by empowering, motivating, and supporting them. Engaged in multiple community-based activities, Jasmine is the treasurer of the Spirit of Little Hulton, a member of the Big Local Board, a member of Salford Community Voice, a member of Big Local Employment and Training Task Group, and Finance Funding Committee. I'm delighted she's been able to find her time in that very busy diary to join us here this evening. Please welcome community leader Jasmine Bakari.
That's right. Good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. As you already know, my name is Jasmine. I'm a founder and the CEO of Women with Wings Group based in Little Hulton. Our aims of our organization is to empower, motivate, inspire, and support women to thrive and improve their lives and their family lives. We support women to improve their lives and their family lives through women's well-being and mental health, through therapy sessions, well-being workshops, including family trips and events. Also, we support women to become financially stable by training and guiding them through starting small business that they can do along their time with their kids, as well as go back to work or education. To date, we have supported over 100 women in Salford to improve their lives through different journeys, including enterprise, employment, and education. I'm proud to be a member of Salford Black Leaders Group, that is under CAHN. And today, to celebrate Black History Month, I would like to take this opportunity and congratulate all the BAME councillors, the new ones and the old ones that they've been elected, because you are there to show us and to lead us to the next stage. During COVID, as a community leader, we saw a gap in the BAME community regarding receiving vaccine and receiving COVID-19 messages. That's where the Black Leaders Group came forward, and we collaborate with the local councillor and help the BAME community understand the key messages of COVID-19, as well as increase the vaccine uptake. As Black leaders, we did an amazing job in our communities by translating those key messages, engaging with our community, and spreading those key messages in our community for them to understand and come forward and take the vaccine. This engagement works in our community helped to increase the vaccine uptake in the BAME community, as many people build the trust to us that we talk to them. People understand the danger of COVID-19, so it was in the importance of taking the vaccine. So it was easy for them to come forward and take those vaccines. As Women with Wings Group, we held around 10 pop-up clinics in Little Houghton to support spreading those messages and engage with the community to ask them to come forward and take the vaccine. And we managed to engage with over 200 people in our community, and over 100 people came forward and take the vaccine. Looking going forward, as community leaders, we would like to continue to work together and communicate well with our local council and other communities around Salford and Greater Manchester to build a better community that is safe and benefit for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Jasmine Bakari, community leader in this area. Our next guest is from the ward, the Walkburn South Ward, Councillor Irfan Saeed. The community has been a major part of his life. Over a decade now, he's been volunteering and working with various partnerships and community groups across Salford. He's passionate about health and social care, education and climate change. Please welcome Councillor Irfan Saeed. Thank you.
Good evening. Well, it's good to be here. Well done, CAHN. I have got a special relationship with CAHNs since I was a child, because we have got famous CAHNs in Salford, and we have got some famous CAHNs in Bollywood. Do you know them? Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, one of the celebrities. So, well done, CAHN. You are special. So, I received an email, I was in India, that will you be able to talk or do a video for 2 minutes? I said, yeah, piece of cake, Salford Mayor. Paul Denny does it every day. So if he does every day, I can do it too. So Eddie, who is here, kindly came to Salford University to do a video. Believe me, I was not as nervous when I got married when I took the video. It took him at least half an hour to get the correct shot. So finally we did a video to talk about the achievements we have done and we have achieved in Salford. But these achievements, the things we have achieved in Salford doesn't came like this. Let me give you a brief what actually happened a few years ago. I think it was 10 years ago when I had no gray hair on my head. Now I have got loads. I met a newly elected councillor, Paul Dennett, in a multi-agency forum meeting. He was a new councillor, and we had this meeting about refugees and BME living in Salford. So he said that I want to see people from different backgrounds, different nationalities, to be in the council. I want also people from BME background in the council. And he was a new councillor at that time. And he said, you can be a councillor too. I looked at him and said, he's making a joke. He just wanted to pull my leg. I said, thank you, councillor, but we don't know anything. I don't think that we will be a councillor. Paul Dennett, 12 years have passed. Now I'm standing in front of him because he sparked the fire in me that we have to do something. And now we have got not only one councillor, not two councillors, but about 5 councillors in Salford City Council, besides people from all backgrounds of all ages. So he actually made it possible to have us a strong foundation in Salford. A councillor who was new, he was not even mayor at that time. He had a vision, he had a dream. So the legend was born in Salford. I can say it was Paul Dennett who wanted to see something different in Salford. Now after 10 years, we can see the difference. So it was not just that he wanted to have a good representation of people from BME background. I remember he saying that I want to see council building homes so that people who are not able to buy homes can actually buy those homes. And now it's print a few Salix homes, building homes, and people like who are not able to buy a home, they can actually go and afford that home. Then he wanted to see that I want to see people getting a real wage so that they can go home and actually feed their families. So we were the first councils that introduced the living wage in Salford, thanks to the legend who is sitting here. He never talks about that, but I will, because I wanted to go back. But this foundation that we had in Salford doesn't mean that only one person was involved. So it's like building a house. We need doors, we need bricks, we need other things. So different organizations came together, like the CVS. They supported and helped us to build that house we wanted always. And we had none, from the BME who were part of the Labour Party. So we started a campaign that let's build and have some leaders who could be the councillors tomorrow. And now we have got a BME Labour Party in Salford. So it's all that we all wanted to see that something changed. If you asked me 10 years ago, did I want to be a councillor? Even I didn't know the difference between a councillor and a councillor. So we did it. I did it. And you all can do it too, who think that, I can't be a councillor, because I said the same 10 years ago. So I must like to thank everyone, especially Paul Dennett, to have a dream that we want to see a diverse Salford. That's what we are having now. So coming back to what we have achieved a lot. So we, as Sharmina said, if you want to see a change, you must be a change. And Gandhi was right. Because when we remember of the leaders, the legends, we remember of Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, because they did make a change. So we should actually try to have that change. So thank you so much, and I will see new councillors hopefully very soon. God bless you all.
Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Irfan Saeed. I mentioned before that I've just come back from Grenada, and I just want to mention something about what I saw there. COVID didn't get a hold in Grenada for a long, long time. It's not a big island. I think there's 300,000 or 400,000 people on the island. And for a long time, only one person had died from COVID. That number's now gone up to 260, I think it is. But the steps they've taken are amazing. First of all, if you're going into a shop, it doesn't matter where it is, what type of shop, every shop on the island, at the door, you have to sanitize your hands. Everybody's got sanitizers there, you must do that. If you don't, you're not allowed in the shop. If you're not wearing a mask, you're not allowed in the shop. They had lockdowns, very interesting from what I saw. When we first got there, we were told, you couldn't leave the area that we were in on a Saturday or Sunday. Now, we had a beach and swimming pools, as I said, but the lockdown said you stay at home on Saturday and Sunday. You can go to work the rest of the week, Saturday and Sunday, you're locked down. And everybody agreed to it. Everybody did it because they know the importance of it. And I look at what's going on over here at the moment, especially with masks, for instance. I go nowhere without my mask. I took it off earlier so that I can present this. Before I leave this room tonight, I'll have my mask on. I think it's really important that leaders understand COVID isn't finished. They're now talking about a new strain. It's very important that communities come together and do what's right. And we all know what's right. Don't wait for the Prime Minister to tell us what to do. Do what you think is right, and we'll save some lives. Our next guest, well, he's had more mentions than me tonight, but there you go, is Paul Dennett, the Salford City Mayor. Paul worked as a lecturer at Manchester Metropolitan Business School, the Chamber of Commerce, and was an active trade unionist before being elected a local councillor for Landworthy in 2012. Paul has a long history of campaigning on social issues. Since becoming mayor, he has emphasised the importance of housing, jobs, and equalities. Please welcome Salford City Mayor Paul Dennett.
Important part in our annual calendar here in the city of Salford, but also across Greater Manchester. For me, Black History Month represents a real opportunity to celebrate our cultures, our values, our beliefs, our experiences, but it also provides us with a really important opportunity to learn from each other, to learn about our differences, and to celebrate our great similarities and great place that is the city of Salford and Greater Manchester. These events are really important, and I'd like to thank the Caribbean African Health Network, also other Black-led community groups, the community and voluntary sector, the City Council, and obviously our CCG here in the city of Salford for making these events happen, because without their support, many of us probably wouldn't be here this evening at this fantastic venue, the Lowry. Over the past couple of years, COVID-19 has taught us an awful lot, I think, about what we value in our lives and in our communities and in society more generally. And I think all of us in this room are reminded of how much we owe to those public sector workers working on the front line, looking after our communities, our residents, our loved ones, and our health and well-being. Working in social care, working in our beloved National Health Service, and also working in local authorities and clinical commissioning groups. Many of those people working in those organisations are Black, Asian, or minority ethnic individuals. And we also know, as a consequence of COVID-19, that those people in those communities working day in, day out in really difficult circumstances have faced significant risks during the pandemic. And those risks have also been felt within their communities. We were told originally by the government that COVID-19 would be the great leveller in society. How wrong were they? COVID-19 has disproportionately impacted the Black, Asian, minority ethnic communities in our country. And I think tonight we need to acknowledge that, because you have been the front line. You have been looking after our residents and our communities, and to you we owe so much. And some of those individuals have given everything, and I mean everything, including their own lives, for the health, safety and well-being of this nation. That brings me on to talk about society in a more general sense, I guess. It's no surprise that on 2 occasions I've stood to be the directly elected mayor of the city of Salford. I've campaigned on a slogan of better and fairer. And I genuinely believe in those words, because those words speak to agency, they speak to action, they speak to deeds, not just words and rhetoric. To deliver a better and fairer city, or a better and fairer Salford, requires of us all to actually make that happen. And, you know, the job of a mayor in some respects is about facilitating things, about making things happen, about bringing people together, about empowering people, about teaching and learning people about how things function, and then saying to those individuals, go and do what you want. And Councillor Syed did talk a little bit about the journey we've been on in the Labour Party in the city of Salford. And it's a journey I've been taking really seriously, and this was prior to being the elected mayor. I was serving in the cabinet for 4 years under the previous mayor, Ian Stewart, and I led on equalities, industrial relations, and HR within the organisation. And I was fairly dogged and belligerent that anything we do as a city, and I talk about a city because this isn't just a city council, has to mean something. There has to be tangible outcomes and benefits. And it also meant looking at yourself and thinking about, well, what do you do? What do you contribute in your varied roles, both as a councillor, a member of the executive, but also a member of a political party? And Councillor Saeed is right. It is about genuinely empowering people. I'm not interested in shiny strategies and policies that we can kind of wave around to say, we've ticked that box. What I'm interested in is delivering a better and fairer Salford. And that requires agency. That requires genuine empowerment. And I'm really humbled to be here tonight, because I was just talking with Councillor Sharp, and I said, you know how many black, Asian, minority ethnic people we now have on the City Council? We actually have 12. We have 12 people on the City Council of Salford who would fall into the black, Asian, minority ethnic definition. So we've got Ghanaians, we've got Bangladeshis, we've got Jewish, we've got Indians, we've got Banya Malengi, we've got Ukrainians, we've got Burundians, and we've got Jamaicans. And that is a fantastic achievement for the city of Salford. And you know what? We've only just started, as far as I'm concerned. But I think there's an important lesson this evening. You know, this isn't just about the journey I've been on, the journey the Labour Party's been on in Salford, the journey the city's been on, but it's also about recognising and using this time and this opportunity to recognise that racism, inequality and social justice still exists within our society. And today is about strengthening that resolve. You know, we really need to do more to tackle the injustices, to tackle inequality, to tackle racism. And Black History Month for me really helps shine a light on those injustices of the past, which have helped shape the society we all understand today. And the current experiences of black, Asian and minority ethnic people and their communities, who we know play an integral part in British society. So it is a privilege and an honour to be marking this month, focusing, I know, this time on cultural awareness. And we've heard that the theme today is proud to be, and oh, should we all be proud. Acknowledging and understanding that we have different values and beliefs and experiences, but we also have so much in common. And that shapes our commitment, I think, to tackling inequalities in society. When I look at the city of Salford and the history of this city, you know, we're really proud of our Yemeni community in Eccles, which I understand was one of the first Muslim immigrant communities into that area in the 1950s. The Yemenis actually arrived in the UK in the second half of the 19th century. And it's important we remember our history, because our black, Asian, minority ethnic community are an integral part of British society. And it frustrates me endlessly how they're portrayed as the immigrants, the migrants, the refugees, the asylum seekers coming to this country. They've always been here. They've always been here. And we need to tell those stories. And Black History Month for me is an opportunity for us to do that. We're also proud of our Orthodox Jewish community in the city of Salford, who've been here for around 100 years and who play an integral part of civic life within our great city. In the city of Salford, in Latin, under the coat of arms, it talks about the welfare of the people is the highest law. And for all of you who hold public office and work in public life and work in public private sector organisations, that should motivate each and every one of you. We talk about the spirit of Salford. We wear these little badges that say the spirit of Salford. I'll let you into a secret. The spirit of Salford are the people of this city, going about their lives, helping one another out, listening to each other, trying to solve their problems, and trying to build a community we can all be proud of. And as the mayor, the ceremonial mayor, ended on a quote, I'm going to end on a quote, because I think we're at a really important juncture in the city. We're at the process of refreshing our equality strategy for the whole of the city. We've also built some great successes over recent times. But for me, there's no room for complacency on this agenda. And for me, I would end with this. Nothing about us without us is for us. Thank you very much.
Our next guest is Shahanara Begum from the Salford BAME Group Chair. Passionate about playing her part in resolving some health and social inequalities, iniquities in Salford. She networked and identified champions that have the similar visions, so to make positive changes and make appropriate challenges so improvements to people's attitudes and services can be made. Please welcome Shahanara Begum.
Hello, I'm glad to be here today, and I've been honoured to be invited to speak on behalf of myself as well as being the chair.
Just bring the mic down a bit so we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
There you are, that's better.
Okay, so I'll start off by saying I'm born, raised, live and work in Salford. Around 10 to 15 years ago, I may have not said that, and I would have said Manchester. So I'll tell you a little bit about my journey, and a lot of what Sharmina said resonated a lot with myself. I joined the BAME staff group around 10 years ago, and I was so excited about joining because I wanted to make a difference, because I was passionate about equality, diversity and inclusion. And I remember not really knowing what to expect, and I was so naive, and I remember just listening to other people and being so deflated by some of the comments people were making. And that often included things such as Salford being racist, it not being an encouraging city, and it not being for them, which really got to me. And that's when I thought, if someone like me can't make the difference and fly the flag for Salford, then who will? So I stuck around, and I'm still here. And I'd say over some time there were some positive changes along the way for various reasons, which Paul, Sharmina has spoken about. Some of the struggles that we faced locally, nationally, as well as globally, meant that there were more pressures on us from the BAME community. Often I felt alone and unsupported, and at one point, again, I said I was the last one standing as part of the formal BAME staff group. We often had to ask for a slot to share our voices and experiences, sometimes having to justify why we didn't feel included, so there was little or no change. And I too, over time, became deflated and started pushing back, whilst still continuing to push equality, diversity in other areas that I was involved in. That changed, and a lot of us have alluded to Paul coming into the authority And visually, we can see today in and around the city, around the diversity that we have, but it feels different. We're now being asked for our views and voices, and now I feel more comfortable about having those uncomfortable conversations. That wouldn't have happened 10, 15 years ago. We do feel as though we are being listened and things are being acted on. It's now less about us and them and more around how does it affect us collectively. And although my experiences and those of the staff group may not have directly led to the changes, we've definitely shaped and influenced a lot of those. I was proud on a recent development day with my team to ask around what was it about Salford that they enjoyed and loved around working. The comments took me aback. One of the things that they said were it was welcoming, it was inclusive. Salford is an attractive place for people to live and work, and most importantly, it cares for its people. Now, half and half of our team is from and live in Salford, and the others live outside of Salford. We've got a long way to go, but the smallest of changes will hopefully make the biggest impact. And on the theme of today, in terms of being proud, I'm proud to be Muslim, I'm proud to be a woman, I'm proud to be British Bangladeshi, I'm proud to be the chair for the BAME staff group, I'm proud of my culture, heritage and identity, and most importantly, I'm proud to be from Salford.
There's nothing else going on in the building, by the way, as you can tell. Thank you very much indeed.
James Bond outside.
Sorry?
James Bond.
Is it James Bond, is it? Yeah. So, we're going to break for a few moments. We have some entertainment going on in here, and we're going to go out individually, if you know what I mean, one by one. Don't all rush. The buffet is out there. It's a self-service, so just go out, have something, bring it back in here to eat it. And there will be, as I say, some entertainment going on here.
Of Woodford, KT is a political and equalities activist. He's the founder and director of Operation Black Vote and trustee of the charity Police Now. Lord Woolley has been a crossbencher member of the House of Lords since October 2019. Coming to us via Zoom from London, please welcome Lord Simon Woolley.
Good evening. I hope I'm not disturbing you eating the good food, but it is a great pleasure to be with you, if not in person, via the wonderful invention of Zoom, and very much in spirit. I first want to pay tribute to CAHN and all the leaders such as Charles, who like me is a, how can I put this? A disciple of Dr. Martin Luther King. Is that right, Charles? A disciple of Dr. Martin Luther King. That Dr. King has handed the baton of fighting for social and racial justice to civil rights icon, Reverend Jesse Jackson, our friend. And he has handed it to me, and I've handed it to Charles. And in return, Charles has handed it to you. Every single one of you in this room have been handed the baton to fight for social and racial injustice. The thing is about being handed the baton, you know, Charles will tell you that it bestows you with superpowers. Yeah, superpowers that you can change our world, that you can inspire a generation of young men and women, black and white, but particularly black, because we're confronting racial injustice. It bestows you the power to do remarkable things. I would say that some of you, when you are bestowed this power thinking, oh my gosh, this is too much. This is a responsibility that I cannot bear. But I'm here to tell you that you can, that you will, that you need to, because of the enormous challenges out there in Manchester, in Liverpool, in Birmingham, in London, and more broadly out there in the globe. You know, as we come through this tumultuous 2 years of COVID-19 and the devastating impact it's had on our communities, and the death of George Floyd, and the uprising, the protests, the big takeaway for me is it's our time to step out of the shadows of imposter syndrome. And you know what people tell us, get to the back of the queue, right? Do some more training. Stop that imposter syndrome. Look in the mirror and say, I'm a leader. I will lead. I will serve. And I will change our world. Every time that Charles asked me to play a part, you know, I think, oh my gosh, there's not enough hours in the day. But I can't say no to this brother, because I know what he's doing. I know what he cares about. So I'm sorry to interrupt your wonderful dinner, your wonderful conversations. But thank you for sparing me these few moments to share my thoughts, my feelings. Because when we celebrate Black History Month, actually, we're also celebrating Black excellence. And I can't see you, but I can feel the Black excellence in the room. The power, the love, the spirit. And I just hope that you, rather than feel burdened by my ask of you to be great leaders, I want you to feel empowered, inspired, encouraged about what you can do. So it's not just today, it's tomorrow and the next day. Remember this, Simon says, this is our time to excel, to be the leaders that we're meant to be. Charles, my brother, don't call me tomorrow and say I've got to do something next week too, because I'm tired. I need to rest a little bit. But I'm with you on this journey, our journey. So thank you all very much, and enjoy your food. Be strong, be you, and together we change our world. Thank you.
There you are. That was absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much indeed for that. And Charles will be calling you tomorrow. So expect it. Thank you very much indeed, and all the very best. God bless.
Thank you. Good night, God bless.
Before we started eating, I promised you some entertainment. So can you please put your hands together and welcome, with a fun-filled African traditional dance originating from Cameroon in Central Africa, our African Cultural Dance Group. Wish them a warm welcome.
My name's Shameen August. I'm a counsellor for Eccles and I'm the lead member for Inclusive Economy, Anti-Poverty and Equalities. Addressing inequality in the city, so I am responsible for our new equality strategy that we're launching next month. I was responsible for our anti-poverty strategy that we launched earlier this year. I've brought in a lot of things from my own community as well. So we've launched a Muslim forum, we've adopted the Islamophobia definition, and there's so many things that I'm really proud of. We set up a health inequalities board, which I'm really proud of, specifically looking at how inequalities through a health lens affects people. So it's not just about things like pay, it's quality of life, it's life expectancies, it's things like vaccines. Council before I was elected, and there were no women of colour at all. There were no Muslims, there was nobody from Asian heritage at all. And I wanted to represent my community and make changes for my community. In terms of next steps, it's to continue addressing those inequalities. So I think the pandemic showed so much about what's wrong, and we need to put that right. So going forward, we're looking at inequalities in our workforce, but across the whole city. I'm really looking forward to making Salford the best place in the world to be anybody. Be like yourself, don't be like anybody else. But if you want to make a difference, step forward and do it. I reached out and I got support from people to do that. And I'd say anybody reach out, come and get in touch with me if you need to, and we'll work out how you can make the best difference to your community. But be yourself, don't try and be like anybody else.
My name is Wilson Nkurunziza. I'm one of the local councillors in Pendleton and Charlestown. If we are talking about since 2010, 11, up to now, we have lost about 22 million pounds in our budget. And we are also asked to cut another 10.5 million pounds in 22-23. That means has got a massive impact on services that we provide in Salford. We have faced challenges of universal credit is going to be cut by £20. This means here in the city of Salford, we do have 32,000 people who are on universal credit in work or out of work. That means they're going to be losing about 1,000 a year, which means a lot for families on universal credit. And this is going to also affect about 3.5 million children across the United Kingdom. We have got issues around housing, a lot of people who are homeless and who are on waiting lists who can't have a social. But here in Salford, we try to do our best to mitigate all those impacts, to make sure that we can keep, for instance, this library open. And here in Salford, we commit to build hundreds of houses in the area to ensure that we can reduce the numbers of people who are on waiting lists. We have always tried to do our best to improve the services on how they are delivered to the people. We are about to launch the equality strategy, which is going to be on the November 8th from 11:30 to 12:30. I take this opportunity to invite you to come to the launch of this strategy. So we do still have a lot to do in this area in terms of equality and diversity, but we have made progress over the years. We do have also other equality strands represented within the decision-making processes, which is making a more inclusive city, fair justice for all. The change is possible, but it requires that we come together, we become active citizens, getting involved so that the change becomes inevitable. We all need to be together to challenge unfairness and the social justice for all.
My name is Irfan Said. I am a city councillor serving Walden South. And I am also chairing Salford Forum for Refugees and People Seeking Asylum here in Salford. And it was just 4 or 5 of us who started this organization. And I would like to thank Salford CBS and other partners who actually supported us that time to have this organization in Salford. And now, if you compare it to 2021, now we got about 150 members who regularly attend the meetings. Now we have got about 5 councillors from different backgrounds in the city council. Someone who's from ethnic minority background faced different issues, discrimination. This pandemic, this COVID has actually affected many of us in different ways. But especially people from ethnic minority background, it has affected them both emotionally, physically, and mentally. And there are different intersectional reasons where they were affected more than someone who actually knows the people, knows the city, knows the system. In 2010, 2011, we set up a Salford Forum for Refugees and People Seeking Asylum here in Salford with the intention to see how we could support people. Community cohesion and social inclusion is something that I have been working for many years now. Now, as I'm a chair of Salford Forum for Refugees and People Seeking Asylum here in Salford, what we do is we empower people to sit in different boards and organizations so that they can be within the circle rather than outside the circle, so that they can actually make the decisions for them rather than someone else making decisions for them. We are taking this journey forward, and we are going to see a big difference in Salford, and which is already visible, that we have got a diverse people sitting around different decision-making tables. What I will tell them that we, or I, started like yourselves. I was not able to differentiate a difference between a council and a councillor. I was not able to differentiate between the different systems working in Salford. But what I did is I take a first step to see how I can make a change and empower myself and others.
My name is Alexis Shama, new councillor been elected in Salford since May this year. Very proud to be elected as councillor in Salford. Salford is my home now. I've been living in Salford around 20 years now, and I did my study in Salford, undergraduate at University of Salford in business economics, and then I did a master's degree as well in international banking and finance. Since 2015-14, that's when I start be involved in different communities, and I'm a member of Salford Forum, where I've been supporting people in local community in different things. In the last 10 years, that's what we've been supporting them. I was very honored and proud to be elected as councillor to represent local community, local people with different issues. Since I've been elected, I'm still a new councillor, but I'm very proud to represent people, and I'm very glad and happy with people, the residents of Salford, who have given me trust to represent them in council. As a new councillor, I'm still not able to understand everything, but I've already catch up, and there's some other been getting support with some other member from Salford City Council. And I'm very, very proud and happy to represent people in Salford. For me to be elected as a councillor, and I have a willingness, and I'm very, very glad to support people in local community. As a councillor, BME councillor, member of Salford Forum, we try to support and encourage people as well from BME community to be involved in different things to empower us, because when we don't know, when we get involved, we know what is going. In organizing different community cohesion with different groups, and we've been supporting many groups in Salford and the local residents who has as well some project. We visit, as a councillor, we go to visit different groups, different community from our ward, and we support them with some other issues. We try to help other communities, different communities, to get out from isolation, and sometimes we're going to organize event, then people can come together and share some experience, and some of them, they can learn from other people. With my colleague, with other people as a member of Salford, which we've been supporting the community the last 10 years, we help people to come together. Then they can build a stronger community together, and then they can share experience and help each other, as everyone can have some experience, some skills, but when people are coming together, they help each other, and we give as well some kind of guidance and help many people in different other things which they need.
I'm Nathaniel Tete. Currently, I just, in fact, got promoted to become a lecturer at the University of Manchester, and I am a local councillor at the Salford City Council. COVID has been a massive game changer, but also challenging in seeing that innocent man, George Floyd, get killed, the way he got killed. It was very uplifting, knocking on certain doors and people saying, we want to see people like you becoming a councillor. We look forward to you becoming a councillor in that sense. And so in May, I already had a feeling that I was going to win, because the reception at the doorstep was quite positive. People came out and knocking on doors for me, both Black and Caucasian, and our brothers and sisters as well. So it's been really, it was really, really positive to see that, and I got elected on a very, very good mandate as well. I want to see representation within our city councils, Black representations within our city councils. Let's be bold in saying that. Generally, to do that, you have to try to put yourself forward as well. In Salford, we have a specific strategy of doing that as well. And we have a Salford BAME group by where we sort of try to foster ideas and encourage peers to try to run in future and go behind them and support them during the interview process to get themselves on the list, and then interview process in the branch, and then hopefully be selected to stand in elections. I had a chat with a policy advisor within the city council about how we can, I wear two hats, as I said to you. So I'm also an academic. And so how we, within the University of Manchester, can support them with expertise in helping them have an equality strategy that is worth something. Don't go vandalizing anything, peacefully protest. In doing that, people in the city halls will see that you are not happy about something, and you want to say it by being visible, being there. Let's try to encourage our young people to be proud to be Black.
My name's Councillor Robert Sharp. I'm a councillor for Little Hulton in Salford, and I'm also chair of the Growth and Prosperity Panel, and formerly exec support for public health, adult social care and other health related bodies. I was on the board of the CCG and the council when we merged together, so by merging together we could bring our collective resources together and make other people's lives in Salford a lot better through improving their health outcomes. One of the main challenges was being the only ethnic minority on the council at the time when I started. So being the only Black voice on the council is difficult. It's difficult to speak up in a meeting and say, what about ethnic minorities? We've worked and we've managed to get now 5 or 6 councillors that are from ethnic minority backgrounds. That makes it a lot easier now to bring our voice to the fore in meetings where decisions are made. Motivations predominantly are around improving people's lives in Salford. So before I became a councillor, I just purely thought that I could do a good job in making improvements for the city. Collectively, as the three councillors in the ward, we've done quite a lot. So there's a lot of changes coming in Little Hulton. We've got pump track, we've got new medical centres, we've got new schools coming through, we've got roads paved. We've got a whole raft of change come through that's been positive for people of Little Hulton. Always good to challenge. So when you're in meetings, especially decision-making meetings, you've got to ask questions. How does this disproportionately affect our groups, and how does it disproportionately affect other groups that are underrepresented? So there's always that importance in getting those questions asked there. But then also you've kind of got that passion and drive yourself to deliver change and positive change for people. Our voice is now heard, so we can challenge and shape the future. I'd say if anyone wants to become a councillor, go for it.
Thank you very much indeed to all the councillors for their very positive. Give them a nice round of applause. Especially the one who couldn't wait to start again. So our next guest is coming to us via Zoom. She's Dr. Bushira Chowdhury from Walkden Medical Centre.
Good evening, everybody. Just going to share my screen. Hi everybody, thank you so much for having me this evening. It's a real pleasure to be here. My name is Dr. Bushra Chowdhury. I'm a GP and I'm also Vice Chair of ASTOC, a group of voluntary doctors from the Northwest, and we've been around for 10 years, and also I'm co-author of the SARD score, which we developed during the pandemic. So ASTOC has been around for 10 years, and like I said, we're a voluntary organisation catering for the ethnic minority population of the UK. And this graph just highlights the ethnic minorities in England and Wales, according to the 2011 census data, and we were approximately 14% of the population. And prior to COVID-19, the mainstay of our work was community workshops, and to engage with the communities, educating and empowering them to take better care of themselves and their health. And in January 2020 was our last face-to-face event, where we developed a cancer awareness roadshow, where we had 1 week of activities. We went out into the communities, and that's me in 2020 delivering a talk about cervical screening to a women's group in Oldham. We know that health inequalities have existed for many years, and myself and the chair, Dr. Inam Haq, and Dr. Ria George co-authored one of the chapters in this book. And I would really recommend it if you have an interest in tackling health inequalities. There's lots of really good information in there. We know that COVID-19 disproportionately has affected ethnic minorities in the UK and America, and quite early on in the pandemic, we realised there was a real need of information in different languages because it was lacking. So my colleagues and volunteers in ASTOC grouped together, and to date we've produced 188 videos in 24 different languages. The majority of them about COVID-19, staying safe, when to test, and also promoting vaccines. And we've also been delivering workshops and videos on cancer screening, which we really need to catch up on. In May 2020, one of our colleagues, Dr. Saad Al-Budaizi, sadly passed away after contracting COVID-19, and he was a GP in the Northwest. So some of his colleagues and myself, 9 of us, grouped together, and we all had a look at the research and the current evidence and produced the SARD score. And this was quickly put out nationally and used by many different groups who were working frontline to try and identify those who were high risk. We soon knew that if you were older and Black and male, you were more likely to have worse consequences of contracting COVID-19. So we knew we had to act quickly, and this really did help people to identify the risk factors that we were aware of at the time. We followed this up with an electronic version with the sardscore.com, where you could input the details very readily on your mobile phone or a tablet or your laptop, and check what your score was and identify what the risk profiles and what precautions you would be recommended to take if you were in the high risk score group. We know that there is now lots of inequalities within vaccine uptake. You know, vaccine hesitancy has decreased, so the messaging is getting out there that there are benefits, and also a return to normality will only resume when we get more people vaccinated. However, we're now working on improving the inequalities in uptake, as we know that people from more socioeconomic backgrounds, poorer socioeconomic backgrounds and deprived areas are less likely to have the vaccines, and also ethnic minorities are still behind in the vaccine uptake. So there's a lot of work still to do, and we're passionate to try and increase the uptake of the vaccine so we can help save more people from getting more poorly. So thank you very much for your time, just sharing some brief insights of what I've been up to with my colleagues during the pandemic. Thank you so much.
And thank you very much indeed to Dr. Bashir Chowdhury. Thank you very much indeed. We can see you, and that was wonderful. Thank you. We have a very special performance now. A singer by the name of Dorothy Allen, and she's going to perform Etta James's At Last. Please give her a very warm welcome.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to sing a song by Etta James, At Last.
No!
Absolutely wonderful. Originally done, of course, by Etta James. Wonderful version there from Dorothy Allen of At Last. Another nice round of applause, please. Absolutely awesome.
What a great privilege to be here speaking tonight to you all. And Faye, thank you so much for asking me to say a few words. I had the privilege of speaking at the start of Black History Month a month ago, and I was really humbled by what I heard that night. And I'm so proud to be a doctor, and I'm so proud to serve the people of Salford. It means so much to me to be working here, and of course, and I'm really passionate about making a difference. My wife is British Asian, but so proud of our family, and yet just some experience of the lived experience and the day-to-day reality that everybody faces. And Faye, I heard that so much that night, Manchester Cathedral, at the end of last month, and really humbled by the experiences that those who spoke on that night brought to us. And so collectively, we have to have that strong sense of purpose, and collectively to reduce health inequalities. And why I say collectively, it can't just be me, it can't just be Faye, it can't just be Paul, it can't just be Rob. It has to be all of us. Because when we look at the reasons, it isn't just about health, those social inequalities that Paul speaks so well about, housing, education, welfare, and those public health matters that mean so much and yet cause so much division. And so why should it be that if somebody is from the Black, Asian, minority or ethnic group, that there's nearly a threefold risk of dying from COVID? Why should that be? Why should it be that if you are from that community, there's a third of our patients who are in critical care are from the community, when actually within our country there's only 14% of Black, Asian, minority and ethnic people? Why should that be? Why should it be that in Burnley the life expectancy is 54 years? Yet that's in Brafield, where my parents-in-law live, and in Barrowford, not very far away, I could run there, it's 66 years. Why should that be? Those social issues, those public health issues, and mental health issues, as well as how within the health service we can support with respect to prevention, we can support with respect to starting well, living well and aging well in that collective way. And somebody asked me the other week, what sort of leader am I and what's important to me as a leader? So I'm an authentic leader, I'm a compassionate leader, but most importantly, I am an inclusive leader. And that means so much to me in my leadership at the Northern Care Alliance. So the hospitals that we provide care to the people of Salford, Bury, of Rochdale and Oldham. But Salford's the jewel in our crown, and we're so proud to be providing care to those in Salford. Yet the way that we conduct ourselves, it is rooted in an inclusive way. And so what does that mean? Well, that means that everybody's voice matters. That means that we truly respect all who are part of our community. That means that we value everybody, and we use our talent management to drive us moving forward, to unlock the assets of everybody so that we can make that difference to the people that we serve. So I will always be proud of working for the NHS and the opportunity to make these real, meaningful impacts to so many people's lives. That is a privilege. And the Northern Care Alliance, it's full of amazing people. And we do extraordinary work, and they do extraordinary work for the people that we serve. But there's one area where the Northern Care Alliance, and in my view the NHS, have not made enough progress on. And that is what I've referenced, how the experience that we have, some people suffering harm and suffering from unfair access to services and employment opportunities. And yet, that's the case when the commitment and professionalism of our staff is so strong. And so, what we are doing about it, we are absolutely committed to our policy of inclusion. And so we have a 10-year strategy about inclusion. And Paul, it is about delivery, with milestones along the way, with holding ourselves to account to make sure that we're reaching those, with our board, and Faye, one of our non-executive directors, challenging me and the board to make sure that we have made that progress, because it means so much to us. And that being at the root of how we are addressing these matters within the Northern Care Alliance, and how, as we move forward, we can reduce that discrimination and misunderstanding, and so that everybody within the Northern Care Alliance, their voices are being heard, that they feel part of us as we move forward, and thereby making a difference to the experience I said at the start, to our patients, the people of Salford, to their families and to our staff. So Faye, thank you once again for asking me to say a few words. It's been a huge honour to speak to you all, and as I said at the start, an honour and a privilege to serve the people of Salford. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much indeed, Chris Brooks, Interim CEO of Northern Care Alliance. And now, can I invite Faye and Sandy Koju up for some very special presentations? Is that correct? Come on up, please. The first is to Lord Mayor John Mullin. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, read this. CAHN Award of Special Recognition presented to Councillor John Mullin, the ceremonial mayor of the City of Salford 2021-22. Thank you for supporting ethnic minority communities, Black History Month 2021. Our next award is to City Mayor Paul Dennett. Go on, I'll read it out again. I could be here all night, I warn you. Special award recognition presented to Paul Dennett, the City Mayor of Salford. Outstanding commitment and contribution to equality, diversity, and inclusion in Salford. Thank you for making Salford welcoming to all communities. Black History Month 2021. Our next award is to Councillor Sharmina. Come on down. Can you see that? Yeah, it says thanks. An award of special recognition presented to Councillor Sharmina August. How do you say your surname?
August, it's like
August. Okay, just like the month. Outstanding achievement in becoming an elected member of Salford and giving a voice to ethnic minority communities. We are proud of you. Black History Month 2021. No, you can't come back. That was just on the video, you see. Nice try. Next up, Councillor Rob. Yeah, you knew it was coming. An award in special recognition presented to Councillor Rob Sharp. Outstanding achievement in becoming an elected member for Salford and giving a voice to ethnic minority communities. We are proud of you. Black History Month 2021. Next, Councillor Alexis. And this is an award of special recognition presented to Councillor Alexis Sharma. Outstanding achievement in becoming an elected member for Salford and giving a voice to ethnic minority communities. We are proud of you. Black History Month 2021. Next is Councillor Irfan. That's why we didn't tell you. An award of special recognition presented to Councillor Irfan Saeed, outstanding achievement in becoming an elected member of Salford and giving a voice to ethnic minority communities. We are proud of you. Black History Month 2021. And finally, Councillor Nathaniel. An award of special recognition presented to Councillor Nathaniel Teta, outstanding achievement in becoming an elected member of Salford and giving a voice to ethnic minority communities. We are proud of you. Black History Month 2021. Thank you. And thank you very much indeed, Faye and Sandy. And our next speaker, I think he's just been up here, hasn't he? Councillor Tete uses his passion for his community to make further and better changes in Eccles. He represents the ward of Eccles. Please welcome Councillor Tete.
Let's try this, all right? Okay, first of all, I'd like to apologize for waltzing in quite late today. I had no choice. You know, my students sort of held me up today, sadly. All right, and I tried to walk out quickly, but they said they paid £9,000, so I've got to do it for them. All right. First of all, I want to say, you know, I've been told to speak, and I actually was given this on such late notice. Where is Sandy? Such late notice, Sandy. But we're here anyway. We're here, and we're going to do CAHN proud for sure, and Sandy proud as well. Thanks so much for the invite today, and thanks so much for hosting us. I think everyone has enjoyed themselves, absolutely. Myself, Alex has enjoyed himself. I've been seeing him smiling so broadly today as well. What I want to do is start with good and bad news. And then let's start with the bad news first, okay? The bad news is, you know, obviously, you know, I was trying to find out what has been said to me throughout the campaign trail. And I looked at my election, for example, and I was with, Shahamina and Councillor August. And Councillor August and I represent the ward of Eccles with Councillor Mike McClusker. I think we're the dream team, by the way. We're the best in Salford. We're the best in Salford, all right? She had the highest amount of votes, and I came in a bit, you know, did all right myself, all right? Okay, let's get that right, okay? But the bad news is, obviously, on the campaign trail, I remember we knocked on a particular door, and the person says to me, I don't like Diane Abbott. I'm like, who's Diane Abbott? I am not Diane Abbott. I am Nathaniel Tete. I don't like Diane Abbott. I'm like, what's going on? You know, I'm a man, first of all right? I'm knocking on your door for your vote. But the tone I was hearing was, you know, race is a problem, all right? Race to me is a problem, okay? We were out on a litter pick as well. We do a lot of litter picks in Salford. We were very active that way. And I went out picking litter, and one of the residents came and said, are you doing some community service here, by the way? Am I doing community service? I was wondering what sorry, I can't swear, can I? I was wondering what is going on here. So you have that, you know, that language still very much being prominent. Of course, we've had, you know, speakers here have mentioned health inequalities, social inequalities. I'm in the education sector. I see that as well. A lot of inequalities in there. All right, but apart from the bad news there, the good news is that, all right, we are celebrating today. Okay, we're celebrating councillors who have been elected today. Okay, the great news is that we have a mayor who supports us. Okay, a mayor who's actually delivering for us as well. Okay, not just saying it, it's visible in front of you. It's visible, it's tangible. You can touch me, I'm here. All right, it's tangible as well. So to Paul, thank you so much for pursuing me years on end to become a councillor. Thank you very much. I remember the first time I met you, you were not actually elected. The first time I met you, I was actually collecting data.
all right? And then he converted me to be a councillor. That's how it works, okay? We rope you in very quickly, all right? So to all of you here, you could be councillors as well. Come and see us at the end, all right? Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, and to say this to CAHN as well, you put on a massive and a great event. We're very proud of you. Just as you're proud of us, we are proud of you. You've made a real difference to our community, all right? You've gone there to remove that hesitancy to vaccines as well. We're actually very worried about the intake of vaccines amongst the BME population. You've worked hard on reducing that deficit in that sense, and people are taking up vaccines because of you. So for that, we're very proud of you as well. Okay. Then I'll just sort of want to end with making a difference. Look, we have bad news, good news. How do we make a difference? Okay, CAHN is trying to make a difference. That's the first starting point. But how do we individually make a difference as well? All right? So you can stand up to be a councillor, absolutely. You could join community groups like CAHN to make a difference. And also, wherever you are, make a difference wherever you are. I like to walk and talk, so this is quite, restricting. But what I'd say is this. I remember, we had this Ellesmere Park Estate Resident Association, and how I tried to make a difference is, so I went into one of the meetings, and we managed to secure them funding from the CVS, which has been quite prominent for us, and these people have mostly old people, senior members of our ward, coming together after the pandemic, okay? It broke me, it really broke me. One gentleman came up to me and said, I haven't been out of my house for 4 years. And because of this group, I'm out for the first time. Thank you so much. Heartbreaking stories being rendered to me, in front of me. And we're trying to make a difference by making such organic meetings happen through funding. Obviously, we know that funding has been hit quite massively. And we're trying to make a difference by being visible in our community, picking up issues as well. I'm going to be very honest with you. Councillor Argus has worked me properly. She's worked me properly. I've been up and about. We've been very busy. There's no moment's rest. But honestly speaking, that is making a difference. That is making a real difference. And as a sort of encouragement as well, I was looking for the youth out here, all right? So, I don't know, all right. Some youth out here, just to say to the youth as well, look, your voice will be heard and can be heard. All right, it doesn't matter how young you are, it can be heard. We had in Salford the youngest ever elected councillor was 18 years old. So if you want to be a councillor, you can be a councillor at 18 years old as well. Okay, if you want to make a difference, you can make a difference at that age as well. And we're here for you. We're really here for you. We're not just saying it, we actually mean it. And so every single councillor you see here today, including our city mayor, the Lord Mayor absolutely as well, John, I absolutely love you. We're here for you. We're absolutely here for you. And that's all I have to say within 3 minutes. I've been given 3 minutes and I think I'll bow out now. All right? Thank you so much for your time and God bless you all. Boy, that was a long 3 minutes. Only joking, Councillor Tete, only joking. We're heading to the end very, very quickly, so let's say, if we overrun by an hour, so what? Let's welcome Sandy Kujo, who is the Community Engagement Manager at CAHN.
Hi everyone. Okay, I didn't prepare a speech because my manager told me yesterday that I was speaking today, so I had to write something down. I'm going to read it, unfortunately. Okay, so yeah, I'm pleased to have you all here and I'm hoping you're all having a wonderful night. And why CAHN? So these are the reasons why we started our journey of community engagement. So for those of you who do not know me, I'm the community, Sandy, community engagement manager for CAHN. The reason why we started this journey in community engagement were firstly because of some lack of trust, lack of representation and hence evidence base of black people, unheard voices, poor access to services, inequity in funding and resources. We all know that already. Okay. Why community engagement is important for Salford?
for Salford's black community. Supporting the black community in every possible way we can is our utmost goal. This is not just a role for me, it's my passion. It's my passion to serve the community and facilitate social inclusion. We've worked and will continue to work with grassroots Caribbean and African leaders and their groups to help them make lasting improvement to where they live. We support the community by bringing community and faith leaders together in a safe space to share and learn, thereby becoming more resilient. Our work with them also is capacity building by helping groups to acquire the necessary insight, skills and confidence to run their activities, as well as developing sustainable funding streams. In a context where lack of trust is an unavoidable topic, we're working relentlessly to ensure that people from different backgrounds work together to bridge the divide between races, cultures, and generations. Community engagement is important for us all because we work with our statutory partners to co-design and co-deliver services where cultural sensitivity is taken into account. As part of our work with the Salford Black Leaders Network, we have provided practical support, including filling out funding application forms, translating key public health information for minority communities. We have created a forum where collaboration with other grassroots groups is now a reality. Consultation and information sharing happens in a timely manner, which has benefited the community in the best possible way during the COVID-19 pandemic. I will not finish without saying thank you to the members of the Salford Black Leaders Network. Thank you very much, guys. You're an example. You are an example of dedicated community leaders empowered and daily giving the best to their city of Salford. I'm sure our city mayor, ceremonial mayor, local councillor from Salford CBS, who has for many years and continues to work very hard to support various BAME groups in Salford. To Alison, Bruce, Anne-Marie, and all the team at Salford CVS, and Amanda from Salford CCG, thank you for the great support you have provided to CAHN and the network, to CAHN and the network, and your commitment to championing inclusion in Salford. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much indeed, Sandy Cujo. By the way, Councillor Tete, that was 3 minutes. Can we welcome Councillor Rob Sharp, who'd like to say a few words. Give him a nice round of applause.
Thank you very much. I like to keep mine shorter. You'll be pleased to know. I too was asked by Sandy to give a couple of words, and I at the time declined, but I thought the message was important, so I thought I'd better speak. I think it was 5 years or so ago, I was approached by Charles and Faye, and they had this vision, this future, this dream of making Greater Manchester a more inclusive place. And at the time, they said, how can we make Greater Manchester more inclusive and more equitable for people like us? And I thought, this is a big task that you guys are taking. I don't think you guys know how big a task this is you guys are taking on. But 5 years on, and look where we are. I think the journey that you guys have taken has been nothing short of phenomenal. And I think everyone in the room will agree. I received my award before with many thanks and with the comments of, we are proud of you. But I think it's quite the opposite. I think from all of us councillors, the city mayor and the ceremonial mayor, we are proud of you. We are inspired, empowered, and encouraged by the work that you do. And I not only speak for us as civic leaders, but on behalf of the City Council, the CCG, CVS, and all of our other public bodies. Thank you very much for the work that you do, and good luck in the future. We will be there backing you all the way.
Wow, a councillor that could get the message over succinctly. We are nearly at the, I'm only joking, I hope you realise that. We're nearly at the end. I want to welcome, he hasn't been up here at all this evening as yet, has he? It is Charles Kwaku Adoy, and he is CAHN's Chief Officer. Would like to say a few words. Come on up, sir. Give him a nice round of applause.
Thanks, everyone, and I always have to do the last bit, so I'll be brief so we can be out of here. So just to say massive thanks, I think Sandy has mentioned that, but I want to thank Salford. Salford leads the way and does things differently, and like Rob Sharp mentioned, we were looking and scoping when we set out to see where the black leaders were across the city region so we can get some support in what we do. But, the city next door may have many more black people, but you are leading the way. So I'm proud of Salford. We're proud to work here. And I think that support and the way things are done differently in Salford, it runs through right with our relationship with Salford CVS, thanks to Alison Page and Lesmond. They're not here, but they were meant to receive awards as well. To the CCG, Amanda Rafferty, and all the engagement during the pandemic, asking us how they can serve the black community. We're grateful. I used to live in Salford till 2010, so it was great, being here. But just to say massive thanks, and our city mayor, ceremonial mayor, your commitment, and Alexis and I go back 2002 thereabout, from the Salford Methodist that used to be where the Tesco was now. And so I'm so proud of you, Alexis, but also proud of Councillor Tete because he comes from Ghana as well. And I found when he used to be at the CCG, so lots of relationships there. We celebrate you, our black leaders, and we hoping that you can nurture and help grow more, for the next generation. And, for the first time in Greater Manchester, after, our chair, who is also on the race, on the mayor's race panel, challenged, officers within the combined authority about doing something visible. If you go on Andy Burnham's and, the combined authorities, Twitter feed, you'll see, these colors marking Black History Month. So change has come at last. This is our moment, and we just need to build on it. So finally, we're hoping next year it will be bigger, but we're pulling through, so great to see everyone here. As an organization, we'll continue to work with our partners. We would rather be around the table, we'd rather be in those rooms, having constructive conversations, because we recognize some of the historic issues, and so we never point fingers at any individuals. We have dialogues and conversations that will progress us. We will keep working, and we're looking forward to supporting the, Salford's EDI strategy, that we fed into through various meetings. So next year we'll be there next month we'll be online when, our city mayor launches that. But, massive thanks to the Salford Black Leaders Network for coming together every fortnightly meeting, talking about what is happening in the community, engaging with statutory partners, taking insight back. Thanks for all the time you've given and for the people you serve in Salford and across Greater Manchester. And also thanks to the volunteers, CAHN staff team, to the Lowry for giving a discount as part of Black History Month celebration, and, the catering team. And finally to our legend, Mike Shaft, who is on BBC Radio Manchester, not far from, just, the building next door. So Mike has always been there, and he continues to be a great partner. So finally, just to say thanks to everyone for giving your time. Keep shouting out about what you're proud of, living in Salford, serving in Salford, and, to all our councillors, on any sides, we'll keep backing you, we'll keep supporting you. And, we want to see many more, leaders from diverse backgrounds emerge, but also, with the evolution of the integrated care system, strong leaders like Paul and others are making sure that, locality leads and feeds into what happens across the city region. So, we are inspired, we're motivated, and we will keep supporting and working with yourselves. So thanks everyone for your time, and God richly bless you.
Well, over the whole evening, only two people took longer than their time. Councillor Tete and Charles. It must be a Ghana thing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. I do hope you've enjoyed the evening. It's been absolutely wonderful. Apologies for the couple of technicals and the noise from upstairs as well. Yeah, I've got a message for all the councillors. Can you please stick around, because we want a group photo for posterity, I think it's called. Thank you very much indeed. Have a safe journey home. Good night. God bless.